Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Dr. Thomas Palaki, who is a local chiropractor here. But before we go any further, you have an announcement to make, Jean.
Just from the Senior Center as we end December and going into the new year, at the Senior Center, we will have a New Year's Eve celebration. Now, Sorry to say, we're not going to be there till 12 midnight because I don't stay up that late. But we're going to go by probably Rio de Janeiro time and drop a ball at 6 o'clock so we can all get home and go to sleep. But on December 31st, which is a Thursday, from 4 o'clock to 6:30 at the Senior Center, we will be having a ball dropping and celebrate New Year's Eve. Robin and I will be there, and I expect both of you to be there.
I'll be in the Caribbean.
Well, you'll be closer to Rio. That'll be great. Drop that ball there then. But we'll have a good time. Be there. It'll be a lot of fun. New Year's celebration, Senior Center, December 31st, going into the new year. We'll all celebrate together and click our glasses and have a lot of fun.
Well, there'll be a lot of seniors there dancing, too.
That's right, and drunk on their eggnog.
No, a lot of them will.
No, I know that. They're a great group of people.
They are very active.
The Senior Center is a great place to be, and you just have to capture that. You have to be there. So go out, having fun, having a good time, and welcome that new year.
And so many people say, well, that's a place for old people.
Well,
I said, what?
Something, I accept the fact when my daughter says, I think you're a little old, Dad, for that. And I go, I accept that. I'm okay with that. Like the chronic back problems, I'm okay with that. I accept the terminology old now.
No, it's older, not old.
Yeah, and
older.
So
that puts a nicer spin on it.
Well, it's still the same spin to me, and I don't like it, but it's okay.
Part of life.
It's a part of life. That,
Absolutely.
And death is part of it too, and I accept death. At some point, that's going to happen. And I hope it comes naturally. And if it doesn't, then I'll ask Dr. Kevorkian's great-great-grandson put an IV in me and take care of my life and death. That age will then have caught up with me, and I'm okay with that. So December 31st, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock to 6:30 at the Senior Center. Let's celebrate a Rio de Janeiro New Year's Eve.
I think that's a great idea. I really do.
It'll be fun.
You know what? Is your mom coming down?
She might for this. She probably will be here, as a matter of fact, but she likes in her neighborhood she doesn't shoot off any guns anymore, but she brings out the pans and she clacks them and scares the heck out of her neighbors, as she used to. She's only 94 now.
Oh, well, I plan to be there too, 94.
Yep,
I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. You have a long way to go. 39, 94. Let's see. What's the
39. Get out of here. I wouldn't be 39 again for all the tea in China.
I agree.
I absolutely wouldn't.
Life has been great.
You would?
Oh, yeah.
Figuring you're 40, gee whiz.
I wish. I'll take 40, too.
I wouldn't be 39 again. Never.
No. But we're controversial here. We're talking about, and we left off with the system, how it is, how healthcare in the United States is ranked 37th, and Cuba is ranked 39th. And to give care to the people in this country is so important because it's a value that we need to be able to compete in the financial world marketplace and give our children a chance. But when they're being nickeled and dimed by a system that doesn't allow that, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And we were talking in the break a little bit about socialized medicine and the connotations, but Medicare is a socialized system. We have to get away from the actual terminologies and not be afraid of it, but find the models around the world that have worked for their countries that we're competing against, that has allowed them and their children to do better. We have to find that here. When you have to pay $2,500 for one pill to live, that's a problem.
Yeah.
When you have a nest egg that you've saved all your life, and all of a sudden you're finding it's being wiped out because of the medical care that you have sustained from those chronic problems, that's not fair. So we are looking at the seniors, we're looking at our younger crew in terms of trying to find a better system than we have right now.
Well, there's one option, and it's the jagged pill. Just as you say, there's an 800-pound gorilla or an elephant in the room, and that is the profit margins of these select few entities, whether they be big pharma, the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance industries. They all have very powerful political activity committees. So they've got the clout, they've got the power to make things happen. So you can scream and shout all you want. You're not going to win that fight.
No, absolutely not.
And I disagree with both of you.
Okay.
Oh, well, okay.
That's good.
I disagree. I think we can win that fight because we don't have a choice. Good. There's controversy now. All right. We don't have a choice.
I prefer a little pragmatism in this, and that is that, okay, so we're up against essentially an endless resource in the political machinery, in the legislation, in the marketing, in the media, in the battle for the hearts and minds of the population. This is all-out war as far as I'm concerned. And I used to be like, I want to be on the front line. I want to be a soldier. I want to be a warrior in this battle. And I've taken a more art of war approach to this now. My opponent is way too strong for me to go head-to-head with. There's no chance of me winning that. So what do you do? What do you do instead? Well, I believe the only answer is to talk from person to person and do what we're doing here. Talk to people and enlist them and show them that there is a possibility. And those who are willing to listen, they have a chance. They have an opportunity. And it is about your day-to-day actions is all that really matters. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to get some sleep? Are you willing to drink some water? Are you willing to choose foods that make you feel good, not when you're eating them, but 2 hours later? Are you willing to get up and exercise every single day? 20 minutes of sweaty exercise is all it takes. For some people, that's a brisk walk. That's all it takes.
That's right.
Are you willing to get an occasional chiropractic tune-up, even if you don't have the low back pain that most people think is the only thing you should go there for?
No.
These simple things have been shown in so many different studies. When the chiropractor is the primary physician, costs plummet. Because you don't get into the, here, take this pill for this problem mentality. You start talking about things like pain-free movement and what do we need to get you moving? What do we need to keep you active? What do we need to get things lined up so they don't wear out prematurely? What do we need to enlist you in taking care of yourself, in hydration, in sleep, in nutrition, and in care of the structural framework of your body? Because the guy who created conventional medicine thousands of years ago, that's what he was talking about. Hippocrates didn't say, oh, here, try this poison. This poison under the right circumstances is going to make you healthier. And that's where we are today. That's right. All of medicine is here. We know best which poison is given in the right dose in order to make you healthier. Now, that was never what Hippocrates had in mind for health.
Well, I agree with everything you've said, and I wish that I had started chiropractic treatment many years ago because I think I would be in better condition.
Yeah, if you keep things lined up, they don't wear out as
That's right.
quickly. It's that simple.
That's right. And when I come in to see you and you put that thing on my hips and you go, okay, that's a good feeling. It really is.
Yeah, it's just a simple level tool that we use. We see, are your hips level? Are your shoulders level? Is the center of your head over the center of your body? Because we know from extensive research, Nobel Prize winning brain research, that if you line those points up, you open up 90% of the brain's resources to manage every other system in your body.
That's absolutely amazing when you stop and think about it.
But it is the
Really.
basis of acupressure
Sure,
and acupuncture.
yes.
And it's
That's right.
thousands of years old. And of course, our system here in this country is 200 years old at the best. At best, 100 years old.
I'd say it's closer to 100 years, where you're talking about the problem with our system. The problem with our system is the corporatization, the profits being thrown around, as far as not really being focused on health so much, but being focused on where are the dividends, where are the profit margins, where are we going to make money most effectively off this population? And you can't talk in those terms with a healthy population. When your population is intrinsically healthy, you can't make $2,500 on a pill that's going to keep them alive for another 48 hours. So it's of no interest. There is no interest in affordable health care. Not from the people that are running the system right now. There is no interest in getting health care reasonable or affordable. It's got to scare the hell out of people that they'll lose everything if they don't play the game. If they don't cave into this is the way things are done. I have to pay these premiums or else.
But unfortunately, people have collapsed. There are homeless people here in Newhall that are on the street because they lost their home, they've lost their insurance, they lost their job, not because of drugs, not because they didn't get an education, not because they have mental illness, but because of the healthcare system. That is happening day in and day out. It was exacerbated by 2008, but it still continues. And there are many homeless people in this community and around this country who are suffering because, one, they don't have health care anymore, but it took them down so low they became homeless or have died.
Yeah, it's a leading cause of bankruptcy, of losing everything, and in the last 6 weeks of most people's life, they spend their entire life's fortune just eking out one more day of existence under horrible conditions. And this is where the money is made. This is nobody in a power position wants anything to change.
Right, but
I think you're
we're
right.
feeding that system, and we talked earlier about the special interests and lobbyists. They're making more money, and they're being allowed to write the laws in the state and the federal government, and they write laws that make them more money.
Absolutely.
And it's all defeating us. It's for the shareholders. They're making money. That's fine. People are happy.
By the way, Affordable Health Care Act is right on that agenda. This has got nothing to do with better coverage for less money and making it available to more people. Because most people who are dealing with this are not happy at all.
No, they aren't.
Nobody who has the coverage is, oh, wow, this is so much better. I have so much better coverage. It costs me so much less. I can see whoever I want, whenever I want. This is the way that things should have been all along. You talk to anybody who has this coverage, they're like, I'm paying more. I got less. What's different than what I had before?
That's right.
It's not better.
It's not better.
No,
it's an absolute
not
joke.
better.
It's not a joke. It is
It's a
disturbing.
It's a tragedy.
It's a
really.
tragedy.
It really is.
It's all for the numbers, saying that we can give health care to the people when we really can't.
Yeah.
The system has to change. I think there are many people out there that are listening and saying, yeah, it does. But they once again feel helpless in that process. I don't feel helpless. I feel we can do something. When you talk the art of war is from 2,000 years ago, Sun Tzu. And because he said, this is how you treat a war, this is how you fight a battle. You know, first of all, you think about it. You work on it. You organize together. And, you know, we can, on an individual basis, I think, go out and exercise and do the things that will avoid us getting the chronic problems and going on medication, getting addicted to heroin, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, now I think we have to organize. I think there are people out there saying that. We just have to find the right leadership to be able to do that. And unfortunately, the right leadership is bought. It's bought. And, you know, people don't like my stance on some of the politicians out there, but when some of the politicians are not bought and are financing themselves, they're now the little, that boot that was sitting on everybody else's back and saying, you better say this, is the people who are not financed, they can say what they want, and they are saying what they want. And there's a belief, hey, let's follow that person because they're not influenced by special interests. There's a big push for that. 20% of the population feel that way. It doesn't mean we're going to go in the right direction and do the right things, but it shows that those people who are bought and being paid for, they have to say certain things. They have to initiate certain laws that push the agendas of these companies through. They're going to do that. And until we as a people turn around to say, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to follow this. We're going to take the money out of politics. And until we do that, we're in trouble. But I still say the fight is there. And I looked at General George Washington. In our Revolutionary War, there were 9 great battles. And of those 9 battles, he lost 7 of those battles. He won the war. That's what keeps me going, that inspiration that you can lose every battle, but you keep on fighting. And like the art of war says, organize, get together, bring it up, keep fighting. Do it in a strategic way. That's what we as seniors have to do, not just in this community, but around this nation. And I hope that happens. I don't see it happening, but I hope it does.
I think sooner or later it will.
Well, there's
but
no
it's
choice.
not going to be sooner.
When the tipping point, though.
There's no choice.
When are people going to tip over and say, I've had it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it anymore.
Well,
Network.
I don't know that they really will. I think it's just going to become such an unviable system that there is no choice. And then maybe people will start to listen, politics aside, John F. Kennedy started this. He was the one who started saying you need to exercise in school, we need food, nutrition in the school systems, we need daily exercise in the system, and see where it got him.
That's right.
But the point was, though, because of that, I remember you had to get a certain number of points to be able to get that little badge, like a merit badge. And I used to wear that proudly.
Yeah, I got one.
A lot of us got it, and it was great. Some people didn't, but it said this is how you achieve with using good health. And I did that. I have done that the rest of my life, so that I can avoid some of the chronic problems that are still ailing me. But you know something, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It just makes sense economically when you see the staggering costs involved with not taking care of yourself. And I'm not talking about being a health nut. I'm not talking about, joining a cult and dedicating 18 hours a day to doing crazy stuff. 20 minutes of exercise. Drink at least 8 big glasses of water a day. Eat only foods that make you feel good a couple hours later, not just the foods that taste good, because most of them are just chemical constructs designed to trick you. But when you feel good 2 hours after eating something, it means that it was appropriate nutrition for you.
Well, that's interesting, because when I go to the grocery store, I'm curious, and I'll pick up a box of something and look at it and think, holy cow, look what's in it.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah,
You read labels. I mean,
yes.
we all do now, don't we?
Yes, we do.
For every something.
My advice
we
is,
do.
as much as possible, stay out of the aisles. If you only shop the perimeter of the store, the refrigerated section where the produce is, you're going to be so much better.
Yes, I agree with you.
Healthier, yeah.
I agree. And I think we need to take a break. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Dr. Thomas Pilecki, Doctor of Chiropractic. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my title.
Yes, and we have covered numerous areas: nutrition, exercise,
Sure. Hydration.
sleep. Yeah, all of those things, and everything all rolled in one can make you a healthy person.
Absolutely.
It can.
There's 2 more components to it that I focus on with my patients. That's
Okay.
structural alignment, obviously. That's where the chiropractic portion comes in. Highly overlooked. But the most of the chronic aches and pains that most people have to daily medicate for can all be avoided. In fact, most inflammatory diseases, which is the top 5 killers, and there's some component in every disease that is inflammatory, 80% of the time they can be completely avoided. So we spend 90% of our resources in this country on the end stages of problems that could have been avoided in the first place if we spent any attention, any activity at all in attempting to avoid. Sure, there is going to be the horrible diseases like childhood cancer. That is not the person's fault of the lifestyle choices they made, but that falls within that 20%. Sure, dedicate resources to trying to deal with, treat, cure, whatever makes sense to you on that. But spending all of our time, all of our money, all of our media, all of our resources on things that you shouldn't be dealing with in the first place if you just pay attention. If it isn't about the profit margins for agriculture, the profit margins for big pharma, the profit margins for the insurance companies, which are all tied together.
That's right.
And all influence the legislature of how things are done in this country, because there's a lot of money at stake. There's ridiculous amounts of money at stake, and it's got nothing to do with a healthier population. If it did, we wouldn't see the numbers that we see. We wouldn't see the 5% of the world population, which is what we are, taking much more than half of all the pharmaceuticals manufactured on the planet. We wouldn't see being 37th, is it? 37th out of 40 countries. We wouldn't see the staggering health costs. Just Medicare alone, which should be the model, should be the ideal system, costs an individual $6,000 a year before they even spend a dime in a doctor's office. $6,000 a year for an individual with what we consider socialized medicine. It costs the average individual $6,000 before they even see a doctor. There's a lot of things wrong with this system. And unfortunately, the people who have tried to change it in the past became martyrs. I'm not really interested in becoming a martyr, But there is going to come a point where this is just an unviable system. There is no stopping it from the top down, that's for sure.
Maintaining one's compassion for all of this is going to be important. But in the art of war, if you are not healthy enough yourself individually, then you won't be healthy to fight the war.
Absolutely.
So it does start with the individual. And that's what we've been talking about, that you have to take care of yourself first. And for those youngsters out there, and I mean under 60 years old, for those of you who are out there, exercise, eat well, sleep well, do all the things we talked about, stay hydrated, stay mentally well as well. Do all these things to keep yourself going, but realize the passion you need to maintain as you stay healthy. You come together with everyone else and we say enough is enough, and we scream like network, I'm not going to take it anymore. So, we've gone the whole gamut. I think that's important. And I think our listeners understand these concepts. I think they know the controversy that's out there. But we can't let it stop. We can't give up. But it starts from the beginning through ourselves, and we move our way up that network. That's the art of war. That's 2,000 years old, just like acupuncture, acupressure, and everything else we've talked about.
Yeah, I love it.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Sure does. Thomas
It really
Palaki,
does.
controversial as usual. We appreciate it. We just love it when you come on the show. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and In-Home Care Santa Clarita. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.